Welcome back, history students, to another explainer. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're not just looking back at the past. We are examining the incredibly precarious state of the global oil market right now in 2026. From the 1973 oil shock all the way to today, historical patterns of energy dependence are repeating themselves as we speak, and they have massive implications for our immediate future. So, let's start by posing a big question to you all. Why, after decades of literally world-changing technological advancements, is our world still so ridiculously vulnerable to oil crises in 2026? We're going to frame our entire analysis today as a quest to understand this ongoing systemic fragility. What exactly keeps us teetering on the edge of the next great energy shock? Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the modern world's engine, move to the Strait of Hormuz, outline the price of disruption, dissect the global power struggle, and finally, look at escaping oil dependence. All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the modern world's engine, and why oil still completely controls the global economy. Just think about the sheer scale of modern civilization for a second. Even with all the rapid growth in renewable energy lately, our fundamental dependence on oil is just staggering. I mean, it powers the cars, the ships, and the airplanes that move basically all our goods. It keeps massive factories running, it sustains modern agriculture, and it fuels global militaries. It is the literal lifeblood of modern survival. And because oil powers literally everything, there's this direct, totally unbreakable link between the cost of a single barrel of crude and your rising cost of living. When oil prices spike, transportation costs surge right along with them. That means your food gets more expensive, manufacturing costs shoot up, and general inflation just spreads like wildfire across the entire global economy. Moving on to Section 2, the Strait of Hormuz and Middle East tensions. Okay, so the Strait of Hormuz. It's a remarkably narrow waterway in the Middle East that handles roughly a fifth of the world's daily oil consumption. Think about that for a second. A fifth. It acts as the single most critical artery for global energy. Now, as students of history, you know that geographical choke points have always defined the rise and fall of empires, right? Well, today, this specific location is the ultimate choke point for global economic stability. And because this region produces such a massive share of the world's supply, localized threats become global threats instantly. We're talking about tensions involving Iran, regional conflicts, sudden military buildups, drone attacks, or shipping disruptions. The global market is hypersensitive to what happens here. History actually shows us that even just the rumor of a conflict in this strait can cause global prices to spike literally overnight. That brings us to Section 3, the price of disruption, and exactly why those prices surge so incredibly fast. Watch how fast this domino effect unravels. It's kind of scary. Step 1. A geopolitical disruption happens, say a blocked shipping route. Step 2. Because global oil supply and demand are so tightly balanced, markets panic and prices surge rapidly. Step 3. This instantly jacks up transportation costs for businesses everywhere. And finally, Step 4. We hit global consumer inflation. It's crazy how a distant conflict directly and immediately weakens economic growth right in your own hometown. And the human impact here is immediate. Developing countries are often hit the absolutely hardest because so many of them rely heavily on imported energy. When inflation rises due to these energy shocks, sure, businesses pass costs down to consumers, but it's the developing nations that face the most severe economic pressure. This threatens public stability and just completely undermines societal confidence. Section 4. The global power struggle, and why energy is quite literally national security. Right now, the world's major powers are actively maneuvering their entire foreign policies based on this single resource. It's a real game of chess. The United States maintains a posture of protecting global shipping routes to keep markets stable. Meanwhile, China is rapidly expanding its energy partnerships across Asia, Africa, and the Middle East to secure its own massive demand. And Russia, they leverage their status as a leading energy exporter for major strategic political influence. The historical pattern here is totally undeniable. Nations that control energy supply gain enormous global influence. But there's an objective historical shift happening right before our eyes. On one side, you have traditional Western financial systems that have historically relied on the US dollar for international energy trade. But on the other side, the BRICS nations are increasingly seeking alternatives to the dollar and to Western systems entirely. These emerging alliances are actively trying to challenge traditional financial dominance in the energy sector. This is a maneuver that could seriously reshape global politics for decades to come. Finally, Section 5, escaping oil dependence.
Can the world actually make the transition?
Well, massive global investments are currently underway to try and reduce this heavy historical dependence. We're talking electric vehicles, renewable energy, advanced battery tech, nuclear power, and alternative fuels. These sectors are booming. And the ultimate goal of this massive green tech race is to finally insulate our economies from the exact kinds of geopolitical shocks we've been talking about today. It is truly an unprecedented undertaking in human history.
But, we really have to temper our expectations here. Modern economies still rely heavily on fossil fuels for their baseline transportation, industry, and infrastructure. Rebuilding the entire global grid from the ground up, that takes immense amounts of time. So our immediate future remains fundamentally tethered to oil. And as long as we depend on it, energy crises are going to continue to threaten the economic stability of the entire planet.
Which leaves us with one final vital question to ponder today. Just how prepared is the global economy for another oil crisis? As we've seen, the next major shock might not even require a massive war, just a small disruption in the wrong place, like the Strait of Hormuz. As students of history and modern geopolitics, I really challenge you to consider just how fragile our deeply interconnected modern society truly is. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next one.